Right, we're going to tackle getting these half shafts taken apart, and we need to put on one of these sort of bearing pullers underneath the ABS ring to draw it off using the special tool. We need to get these studs out of the way, so they're on a sort of splined, like a normal wheel stud. They're sort of tapped in, so I'm going to put the nuts on and go at it with Thor's hammer, and hopefully they'll come out. They do take quite a bit of whacking, so that's one. There's two. There's three. That's four. I've just put the bearing puller on there loosely. I'll put these studs on. The reason I've left it loose is because I want it to line up. Actually, I might leave those off for a minute and then just tighten up these. Right, we'll give that a try and see if that works. It's just a case of jiggling your puller, so it sits nicely underneath the ABS ring, and so that this all lines up. So hopefully that'll work. We'll give it a try. Well, that didn't last long. I ran into my first problem. The width of that is bigger than the width of that, and now I've got the same problem up here. This is about 10.7 and this is 12 in both directions. The bottom is smaller at about 10.7, 10.8 ish. So you could slot it in. No, you can't slot it in because you won't have room. So I shall probably have to cut 1 centimetre off each of those. So I'll do that, and then we'll get it back and put in there. There we go. Right, we're all set up in the press. You guys can keep an eye on that down there and see if that's moving. And I'll be pressing away up here, and hopefully the ABS ring and retainer should come off. Ah. Now we've got to remove this. It's that little black snap ring. I've got some snap ring pliers, but I've got a feeling that they're not going to work. You can't quite get in there, so I might end up having to modify these pliers a little bit. Try it the other way around. Yeah, I reckon that'll work. Right, let's get a flat screwdriver. So if we carefully this could be tedious. I'm going to modify my pliers a bit. You see there? Focus, come on. I'm going to take off this top edge, which should allow me to get a little bit more in there. That might work. Come on. Ah. Right, now the snap ring's off. We put on our special Rough Tracks tool again. Line up the holes. And normally you'd bang those studs back in, you know, the splined ones that we knocked out. Put them back in, put the nuts on, but it's because we've got to take it all apart to get these backings off. I'm just going to use some normal M8 bolts that fit nicely through the hole with a washer and a nut. And that'll save us a little bit of time. So the idea now is that now we've got the ABS ring and that you know, retaining collar thing off that sat above it and the snap ring, we're now going to press the actual shaft out of the sort of hub, if you like, which will then allow us to press out the wheel bearing. Right, let's get this back in the press. Right, this is set up back in the press again. So you just trap the top section on there and that will push down and hopefully push the shaft out of the thing. So I'll set you guys up on the side again so you can keep an eye on it. I just put a load of pressure on it. It got up to about 8 tons and it wasn't budging. And I noticed that the can't see because that bit's in the way, but the flat bit of the tool just started to bow a little bit. And I'm worried about ripping the bolts out, or taking the threads off. I would have thought it would have budged by now, but I've just moved you down so you can keep an eye on here. Tell me if you see some movement. I'm going to pump it up again and see what happens. That's 1 ton, 2 tons, 3 tons, 4 tons, 5 tons, 6 tons, 7 tons, 8 tons. Did it move? No. Just slide you up, hang on. You can see that plate there is bowed. It was flat against that surface, and it's just bowed a little bit. So if I let the pressure off now, see that closed up. I would have thought that would have moved by now. Let me give it some thought, and I'll bring you back. Well, that was 9 tons and the bolts failed. Right, we should take it all apart and reset with some bigger bolts. Right, I reset with some M10 bolts with longer threads, and I also heated up that retaining ring. Got it as hot as I could with a blowtorch. So we're going to press it again and hopefully it will move. So 2 tons, 4 tons. Oh, now something went, didn't it? I felt something go. 4 tons. Yeah, we're losing. We're losing pressure, so it's I think it's moving. Aha! Yeah, it's not, the pressure's not going up now, it's staying at like 3.5 tons. And it's getting progressively less. Should just hopefully fall out. Ah yes, got a nice gap. Excellent. Don't know if I'll be able to catch it. I've got a cushion and like a crash pad down there, but I'd rather catch it. Excellent. So there we go, I've just unbolted the special tool. And there's the retainer, that was the culprit. And there is our released axle shaft. So now I've got to press out the bearing. So I'll get that set up and bring you back. I've just put a press sleeve on the inside of the bearing because it comes out from underneath, but I've supported it on the backing plate rather than the flange of the bearing holder. So it's either going to push the bearing out or push the backing plate off, but I'm not too fussed either way. So they're not usually held in with a lot of force, these bearings, like literally nothing. Yes, that's pushing the bearing out, so that's fine. You don't even really need a press for these, you can just tap them out. There we go. One wheel bearing removed. Good job, we're replacing them because I torched it when I was heating up that retaining ring. So now all I've got to do is take that seal off and try and get the backing plate off, which looks like it's rusted solid on there. I literally just left it in the same position, put a bigger sleeve on. This is the inner bit and this is the backing plate. So the trouble is I could do with a slightly larger sleeve because that's quite tight on there. So I'm probably going to regret doing this because that's probably going to get absolutely wedged on there and I'm never going to be able to get it off. But this might just bend the backing plate or it might push the centre out. I'm going to go with bending it. Oh. It is coming away, but probably won't do a lot. Maybe I should have wire wheeled some of the corrosion off first rather than trying to force that through, but I don't really need to save these backing plates, so I'm not actually too fussed. Did you jump? I did. Okay. Excellent. We've got our prize. Now all I've got to do is try and get that collar off of there. Right, I've got the collar off. So I'm just going to press out this rubber seal. I've tried pulling on it and just leaving it with a screwdriver, but I didn't want to play ball, so I'm just going to grab a sleeve that fits that. Slightly smaller than that one. Aha. One seal. So that's the only bit we're actually using. That will go on the new backing plates. I think I'll give that a coat of the old, clean it all up with wire wheel, rust encapsulator, black hammerite, something like that. Excellent. Now all we've got to do is repeat it on the other one. and by the power of television, I've got the other side done. That was a little bit more spicy than the first side. And pushing out the actual shaft out the thing, I heated it up really good with the blowtorch, got it red hot, and it wasn't budging. And I got this poor little 10-ton thing. It was up to 10.5 tons, and it couldn't do any more. It just it's got a release valve when it gets too high, and it still hadn't gone. So I just smashed it from underneath with a hammer, one massive blow, and it went, and the pressure dropped down to 4 tons. So I knew it was released. So that's all good. So get these cleaned up and painted, and then we can do reassembly with all nice shiny new bits. Take control.